How's it going, everyone? Got a bit to talk about in this video. It looks like a PlayStation Plus Essential title for the month of May has been leaked, and I want to say it's a fairly good one. I don't really know how to, assess the value of it, but we'll talk about it. And I've been playing Clare Obscure Expedition 33. It is phenomenal. What I find just as exciting about the game being absolutely phenomenal is the fact that they are being rewarded for it and the game is doing incredibly well. We've got some stats to go over, so we'll get to that at the end of this video. But right off the bat, Until Dawn, the remake, has seemingly been leaked as a PlayStation Plus Essential title for the month of May. The Until Dawn movie just came out, so I guess as a tie-in, it does make a lot of sense to offer this as a Plus title. Remember, for Last of Us Day, I think it was last year, the year prior, they did add Last of Us Part 1 as a part of the PlayStation Plus Extra catalog, so they try to tie in whatever's going on in with, PlayStation Plus. They try to make it timely, and Until Dawn, the remake, let's be honest, how many people actually check that game out? It came out last October. There wasn't an upgrade path for those of you that own the original game, and at $50, or it might have even been $60, it was quite expensive. Let's just get that straight. Like, I thought the game was incredibly expensive, and was Until Dawn really a game people wanted a remake for? Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one, but Until Dawn itself, I think, is a fairly decent game. Came out all the way back in 2014, and I thought Supermassive Games did a good job with it. If you're into cheesy horror movies, I think it's worth a playthrough, and, certainly not worth 50, 60 bucks. I thought that was just egregious. Even when the game initially came out in 2014, I thought $50, $60 was crazy for a game at this level. And games just come out at $50, $60. You just, when we assess these games, you just have to consider the fact, hey, it might be worth waiting on a sale for it. Like, I look at other narrative-driven games, at Detroit Become Human, I think that's worth a premium price. But obviously, at this stage of the game, nobody's paying premium for it. But you get what I'm saying. Until Dawn, even right out the gate when it came out in 2014, it was a fine game, but fine games aren't worth $60. It was always a game that I would recommend at a budget price point of like 30 bucks, 20 bucks, and a perfect playthrough as a part of your PlayStation Plus library. And if you played the original, I imagine so many of you did, but you decided, hey, I'm not going to drop all this money on the remake. Well, as a Plus Essential title, I actually think it could be a decent playthrough. I don't give it the value as I would a lot of other new releases have they just been inserted into PlayStation Plus, just because, again, this was so comically priced when it initially came out, the remake that is, I don't even see that much value for it, but it's a nice little game. A lot of people are going to check it out. A lot of people are probably going to have a fairly good time with it. Don't go into it expecting an absolutely breakthrough narrative experience or, a completely world-changing story, but it's a pretty good game, all things considered. It's one of those games that also, if you have people over and you want them to watch you play a game, like Until Dawn's a pretty good one as far as that's concerned. But yeah, that is a Plus Essential freebie, probably next month for the month of May. Alright, Clare Obscure Expedition 33. Man, I've been covering this game since the initial reveal at the Xbox Showcase, and it feels great seeing how much people are loving this game, and the fact that the game turned out as well as it did. Look, I said the promotion of this game was handled flawlessly, incredibly well right out the gate, with that incredible debut trailer, the consistent updates we got leading up to the release of the game, the character trailer, so on and so forth. They did a phenomenal job, but every time I talked about the promotion, there was one final thing that they had to knock out of the park, and that was game quality itself, and this game was better than anybody, I think, expected. I'm hearing through the grapevine that it looks like the expectation level within Kepler and some people involved was that this game was going to be around the 80 range on Metacritic. You want to know where it's at on Metacritic? A 92. Yes, it is at a 92 on Metacritic, and it has also surpassed 500,000 copies sold. Now, that is as of April 25th, and I was talking to a lot of people, and I saw a lot of people, and I heard a lot of people that were looking at the Oblivion remaster and thinking, oh, Oblivion remaster, it came out the same week as Expedition 33, that's gotta hurt. Look, it may have hurt initially. I said this in previous videos. In the grand scheme of things, you guys, it is not going to matter. What matters for Expedition 33, this game is bigger than just in a vacuum on day one selling a lot of copies. This is a game that could potentially be, in retrospect, one of the most important game releases literally in this era, because it could point towards a shift in game development. When you're talking about a game that has the level of attention and care and detail that Expedition 33 has, done by an incredibly small team, being received this well, it's not only important for Clare Obscure Expedition 33 to knock it out of the park on the basis that this is a studio that's formed by former Ubisoft developers. It is a smaller scale game in the sense that they don't have a 200 developer team on it. It's done by a fairly small team, and it's got so much passion, so much care invested into it, and you just want to see games like this do well. And beyond all of that, it's to be the arrival of Sandfall. They have now established themselves as a studio that, even if maybe Oblivion hurt this game a little bit, which, by the way, ultimately, you can't really know. It's a what-if scenario. Oblivion, or in reality, as Oblivion came out, and I'm sure that there are people that, you know, Oblivion is a lengthy RPG, and they're just invested into that. I get that both games are on Game Pass, but you get the idea. Oblivion is cracking 200,000 concurrents on Steam, but guess what? Expedition 33 is doing very well as well. On day one, it peaked at around 50,000, and it just grew and grew and grew, and in the case of how much Expedition has grown, I would say it's leading credence to the fact that people saw the reception of the game, people saw the buzz around the game, and then a lot of people decided to check out the game this weekend, because the all-time peak is now 98,000 concurrent players. That beats out games like Metaphor ReFantazio, and I bring that up because that's a turn-based game that's a JRPG that is in line with Expedition 33. 98,000 for Expedition 33. Oh, and by the way, Expedition 33 is also available on Xbox Game Pass. You know, there are turn-based games like Baldur's Gate 3 that obviously peaked at much higher, but Expedition 33, again, new IP, new studio, a 98,000 number is 1.5x higher than Assassin's Creed Shadows, you guys. Shadows, an apt comparison point, because Shadows was available in a subscription service as well in Ubisoft Plus. Expedition 33 hitting 98k is an incredibly successful number for the game to start at, and this is one of those games that over time I imagine that more people are gonna pick it up, especially you're talking about some people being busy with Oblivion. I can see a lot of people circling back and playing Expedition, and now you're talking about whatever Sandfall does next, it's gonna have an immense amount of hype, an immense amount of interest, because they put out a legit Game of the Year contender, and we're still early on. Look, Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna come out this year. Been having a lot of conversations with people talking about Game of the Year and whether or not this game is actually going to end up winning. There's a lot of games coming out this year. I mean, a little platform called the Switch 2 is coming out. Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out. Donkey Kong's going to come out. Mario Kart's going to come out. All of those Nintendo first-party titles. Ghost of Yotei is going to come out. All of the games from Microsoft as well. There's a lot of competition. However, Expedition 33, I think, should absolutely be in the mix. And it's not that I care too much about what wins Game of the Year in the sense that, oh, this is the best game. No, I look at Game of the Year rather as what is going to mean the most as far as for that studio and pushing something forward that I want to be pushed. Grand Theft Auto 6, as good as that game is gonna be, is Grand Theft Auto 6 winning Game of the Year gonna elevate Grand Theft Auto as an IP? Is it gonna elevate Rockstar as a studio? Absolutely not. Expedition 33, it winning Game of the Year, that's gonna mean something to Sandfall. A debut title from a new studio winning Game of the Year, especially a turn-based game like this, that would be incredible. That's why I didn't want Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to win Game of the Year last year. Look, I'm sure it would mean something to Square Enix. I'm sure, you know, they'd be happy with it, but would it elevate Final Fantasy as an IP? Would it elevate people's reaction towards Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? No, like that game, like the third part's gonna be huge anyway. With Expedition 33, it would really elevate Sandfall, and their equity would be even higher, and Expedition 33 would be elevated as well, and whatever Sandfall decides to do in the future, that would be elevated elevated as well. That's how I look at Game of the Year. What's gonna mean the most to the studio, to the game itself, and Expedition 33 is one of those games that is in the mix where I think it would really mean a lot to this game and that studio attached to it. But that's something we can talk a lot more about by the end of this year. About 15 hours into the game right now as I'm recording this video, and wow, what a tremendous game. And it's a game that, you know, you'll hear me talk incredibly highly about for the rest of this year. Just so happy that this game has done as well as it is, that it's getting the flowers that, you know, it deserves, and I didn't think it was gonna be this good. Did I want it to be this good? Absolutely. You guys know I wanted it to be this good based on how much I was hyping it up and talking about it, but a 92 on Metacritic, a reaction like this, just incredible stuff across the board. But that'll do it for me. Again, Until Dawn looks to be a PlayStation Plus Essential title for the month of May, and Expedition 33 being received very well, has already cracked 500,000 copies sold. I could easily see it cracking 1 million by the end of today, and by the time you guys are watching this video, maybe even cracked 1 million by then. But remember, they also got a hefty check from Microsoft for having the game on Game Pass. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.